So we play some Dune.
Let's play some Dune.
All right then, I suppose. So we're picking up on where we left off, and I am joined by those luminaries of House Obscura. Let's see what I did there. The legend of the Smurk, played by Mr. Craig. The ruthless, calculating, volivant consuming machine that is Tiran Corrado, played by JF. The infiltrator in the penguin suit, played by Nick, William Turosh. And the scourge of everybody else's blood, Sergeant Brava Marlo, played by Shepherd Steve. I'm your Shut Up Meeps. Hope you enjoyed that episode. See you later. Oh no, hang on, we better play. So last time you were hosting the event of the decade, event of a generation, I believe Master Smurk referred to it a few times, and you resolved two tricky conflicts. One, the potential risk to Talia Narell's, the artist Imperial's reputation through the art criticism of Soldarian. He has been humiliated. Blake Smurk triumphant in his superior knowledge of cubism and other forms of artistic criticism. Simultaneously, Sergeant Brava Marlo had an encounter with a supplicant who turned out to be more than they first appeared, a face dancer nonetheless, who seemed to be intent on stabbing Ambassador Irulan with a poison dagger. You disarmed her and dissuaded her from that course of action. She's currently in a box on an ornithopter and has been dealt with. You also have been successful in serving the writs, thanks to Council Troy, on Sarah Roshan and Marcus. I still can't read his name.
Go on.
Thank you. Although that was tricky, particularly with Marcus, and you started to try and understand what the reaction of the Baron de Luminix, whom you invited at the last moment under Veritas's instruction, was to the lack of Anna Visarian's presence, because you have a binding promise holding her down. Still haven't got enough threat to get out of that. But he did his own little counter deploy on you by presenting you with the presence of Darvo Rund in full House Barragan uniform, witless young lad, starstruck by the occasion, whom you managed to secrete out of the art exhibition. And this is where we pick it up. William, you're outside, having shepherded Darvo out under the eyes of all, save perhaps for maybe the Emperor's bodyguard, although he's more suspicious of what Tiran Corrado was doing, what everyone was doing, Tiran in particular, I think, chatting up de Luminix's consort, escort. And Blake Smurk, you are in the middle of giving Baron de Luminix the runaround, keeping him out of William's way. And I believe Sergeant Brava Marlo, you're still in the back room with Ambassador Irulan, and you both are suffering from complications of not liking each other. That's where we left it.
Sad to say.
Within the midst of all this intrigue, the art exhibition itself is a rip-roaring success at this point. Shaddam IV seems to be very happy, enjoying himself, is now starting to walk amongst the assembled and enjoy the art and chatting with others. Talia is the centre of attention and adulation. All is going well. What would you like to be doing in these moments?
Let's see how we can mess that up. I would when we get a chance, I still have some unfinished business in that room. Not with the ambassador, but I believe the face dancer dropped both the knife and a proclamation when they had on their person. I'd like to retrieve that if possible, if it hasn't been moved already.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. Did anyone else pick it up? William, you didn't before you exited.
No, I think we did. You did.
Tiran was
looked at it.
right. Tiran was back here with me,
and
I did. You both? Okay.
When you took her hand off, we picked the thing up, and you had a look at it, and I assisted you to have a look at it.
I don't remember what it was. I apologize.
Shocking.
Okay, we'll tuck it away, and we'll deal with that later.
Okay. So you have that on your person. Now, what about you, William? You're currently outside with Darvo. I mean, it's a parade ground of bodyguard security and half of the Emperor's personal army. It's pretty busy out there. What would you like to do?
Okay, what I'd like to do is just like, if I can, just like chat him up, offer him a cig, make out to stroll around with him, and talk to him about like, oh, you're doing really well. You must remember me. I'm William. I know your brother. I'm just working as a waiter, but you must be doing really well. Haven't you just got promoted? And proper like butter him up.
Mm-hmm.
But like walk so that if he's feeling relaxed, he'll walk with me, so I can get him away from here a bit.
It's like you are smoozing him and being buddy, but using that to help you maneuver him.
Move him.
Yeah, and where do you want to move into?
Close to the ornithopter.
To the ornithopter, so he can be rammed in the back with everyone else and all the other captives.
The crates of people.
The crates of people that you're stacking up. Yeah, this feels like that. Now this feels like a combination of move and communicate. So I'm wondering. I think primarily this is a move. But I wonder if you have a focus that might work well here.
What, for communication?
Yeah, I wonder if you have a communication focus that might work.
I don't. I have move focuses. My move is better. But I could do a communicate role and use a focus of stealth. If that was better.
I think that would work if you were trying to sort of communicate something surreptitiously, but it works better the other way around. I mean, if you,
I would much rather do a move because I get the free.
Let's do move then, but
All right.
Maybe you could still use stealth because what you're trying to keep from him is the fact that you are steering him deliberately somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
That kind of makes sense.
And I don't want all the other
to notice what you're doing.
To like.
Yeah,
pay attention.
Yeah, let's do that. So as you smooth talk him, what's driving you here?
Power comes at a knife's edge. I want to literally get him away from here and power knife slip tip him into unconsciousness in the ornithopter. If I could do that.
So this will be a D2 difficulty.
Alright. Have we got... How much momentum have we got? Just because of my character sheet's open, I can't see. Have we got any?
I'm looking at the chat.
5.
5 according to the thing.
Yeah, we're still at 5.
Okay, so
nice.
I'm going to buy one,
Okay.
and I get one for free, so that gives me 4 dice.
Oh, because of your talent.
Because of my free d20. He's under focus, come on. Oh yeah, okay, and I needed
wow.
2.
You did need
So we've got
to.
2 momentum back.
Yeah.
So that tops up momentum at 6.
Nice.
Nicely done.
And I'm just chatting away. I mean, I'll see if he'll tell me anything as well. You know, if I can get him talking about, you know, you must be doing really well to get yourself, like, at this gig. You know, like, you've not been with the House Berrigan for too long, have you?
And he, you know, he's just guilelessly gushing about how everything has gone so well since, you know, since his since Victor, good old older brother, smoothed things over so that he could join House Berrigan. And you know how he's enjoying the military life, how it sort of like suits him, how the Baron himself seems to have taken a particular attention to his progress, that he feels favoured and special. You know, he's just gushing away.
Yeah, I'm eating that up and complimenting how nice his uniform looks and all that as I
can send my
yeah,
pay
it really
packets
does suit you, Darvo.
back to, you know, and so
get him.
everything will be fine at home because I can
Oh,
really
yeah?
contribute, to the household.
Yeah,
now.
that's nice. Yeah, he's good like that, is Victor.
Yeah. No, me. I'm contributing. My pay packets are helping.
Oh yeah, but I mean, because Victor got you the gig, right? That's what I mean.
Oh, sure, he smoothed things over. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but you're doing all the work, right?
I am. Yeah, absolutely.
And your mum must be well proud.
I think so. I haven't been able to speak to her for about 2 months.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I saw her just the other day, and she was like raving about how well you were doing. You showed me
that's
your
good.
graduation photo and all that stuff.
And as you sort of like crunch along the gravel and sort of like head along towards where you have your ornithopter parked, if that's the right word.
Yeah.
He continues to chat away at Care. He just seems oblivious to your manoeuvrings, you know.
Nice. What I'd like to do is get him as close to the ornithopter as possible, and then knock him the fuck out and chuck him.
The
in,
least
but
amount of dragging
come back to
possible.
that.
Yeah, you can
exactly.
absolutely,
Heavy lifting.
absolutely, because
Come
it's
back to it.
zones here. We don't have to worry too much about movement rates, but you know, perhaps under the guise of, you know, oh, take a look. This is our house ornithopter. What are the ones in Berrigan like? Under that sort of like, you know.
Are you licensed to
Oh,
fly
yeah.
these yet? Have you got your pilot's
All
license?
that kind of
Can
stuff.
Try,
You, you,
try
know,
the
you want
seat
to
out,
check it
you
out?
know.
Oh,
Slipped it.
yeah. If you offer him the option of being able to look inside, then he's well up.
Yeah.
He's giddy about
I'll say,
it.
here, I fly this. Do you want to sit in it?
Oh wow, yeah,
want.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, look, that's right where
Why
I
does
sit.
why
Look.
does the waiter fly the ornithopter?
Well, you
It's
know,
a hell of a waiter.
This,
That's a hell of a waiter.
This waiter gig for a few extra quid.
Yeah,
But
so-
really, I flew here as well.
Yeah.
You have to tip more than 20%
Yeah.
for that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So as you sort of like manoeuvre him to exactly where you want to, and sort of like get your slip tip sort of like ready, this is a good time to cut back inside the art
Yeah. Cool.
exhibition gallery and see how things are going on inside. Just turn our attentions to Blake just for a moment, because you've been escorting the Baron around.
Yeah, I believe I'd just introduced him to Sarah Roshan because they're both into the military thing. You know, so you know, the Baron's got a wonderful fist in his front lobby.
I remember you saying a giant brutalist fist was mentioned.
So I can't remember exactly who
And
I
very
said that
comfortable
to.
fisting benches.
You're fisting benches all around an open fire. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Quite the lobby.
And this is Sarah Roshan. She's also into the martial, arts.
It becomes immediately apparent that these two know each other. And, because, sort of like Sarah says, Baron, how nice to see you again. And, the Baron is polite enough, but is clearly not that interested in her. He's after the prize. You promised him an audience with, and to sort of like negotiate, that he can meet the Contessa. So he is barely superficially sort of like polite to her. But he doesn't want to spend any time around this woman. Yeah.
In that case, I shall attempt, right, I'm going to draw a line and then delete it. Don't worry, I won't mess it up. Like, around here, and then, oh no, the Marchioness is there, and I can try and see what her reaction is to the Baroness turning up. And hopefully she'll say, no, you can't talk to the Contessa, and I can go, what a shame. Back to the party.
Okay, so you're going to wend him around
Where's
there.
Darbo gone?
Yeah. Where are we on the momentum scale? You're doing really well up there.
Yeah, we're at 6.
Turns out I can't delete my line.
I started taking a page out of your book, Steve, and I started putting it in the chat so we can, like, because I can't see it from zoomed in on the character sheet and everything, so it should help.
Oh my god.
At least me,
When I deleted the text, it also deleted all of the momentum and threat at the same time.
Oh, lovely. There you go.
Well, yeah.
We had 12.
You did not have 12. You cannot have that.
Zero threat.
We had 6 each. That's how it works now.
I think I had 2, if I remember. Stop the video, rewind, have a look. I'd say that this is a because the atmosphere is a lot more relaxed now, and there's still quite a few people around, but it's a lot more relaxed and a lot less tense than it was. This will be a D1 move to steer him along politely to where you want him to be.
Okay, I'll go with duty would be best.
Duty is a drive, okay?
Yeah, I'll spend an momentum. That one's my favourite.
Oh my god, it's the rain. I just wondered what was going on now. I just could hear this noise. It sounded like someone shaking maracas in the kitchen. But it's hailing. What's going on?
Oh, that's no good. That's 3 dice.
Okay, brilliant.
Using a focus.
Yes, if you've got any focuses that might apply.
Yeah, Grace. He's going to
Grace, elegantly floating. Yeah, very nice. I like it.
The very picture of Grace is Blake
Tower.
Smurk.
Doesn't knock over the
Doesn't knock over the champagne tower.
Fountain. The Ferrero Rochers in a pyramid.
Perfect pyramid. Yeah. Just inadvertently push him into the chocolate fondue.
Hey,
nice.
Oh, nearly 3 13s.
Very good.
Right? Wow.
So you've got a bit of excess momentum there.
You can obtain information.
Yeah,
you could create a trait.
I'm on the case.
Oh, sorry.
It's like we know the rules now.
You've looked at the rules. We know the rules now. We don't.
I've not read them. It's the only thing I wrote down from like 3 sessions ago. Is what to do. So, if there's just 1 free, then I might try to obtain some information from the GM.
Ask your question. I shall be forthcoming.
What flavour of the vol? No.
What flavour of the vol-au-vent? What is the best-selling vol-au-vent at the party?
I take it back.
Well, the answer to that is
that would be the everlasting gob-stopping vol-au-vent. The more and more you chew it, the more flavour it gets.
Yeah.
Is there
That's my next house. Is going to be a candy creating
Only
house.
take your first question. That's the rules. I don't make them up.
Well, in that case, I totally said. Who is? Does anyone react to the Baron on my way around to there that I notice?
There are some reactions. The most palpable, well, obviously Sarah knows him, and so there is this diffidence between them. The Swordmaster Arno Corvus has quite an obvious reaction to him, which is one of disapproval, severe disapproval. Like he can't quite believe this.
That's just how he normally looks.
Yeah,
that's just his normal. That's just his normal face.
He can't believe this trumped-up peacock has made it in. Like he wasn't privy to this whole shenanigans.
No, he was not.
He never is he? Paul?
Yeah. He might even step forward because I like being naughty. He might actually say as you come round, was there a change to the invite list that I wasn't aware of? I don't think the security detail were aware of the Baron's invitation.
Swordmaster Corvus, have you met the Baron de Luminance?
I've had the pleasure on a number of occasions, he says. And then he goes back to saying to you, nevertheless, I'm not sure the security detail were made aware of the extra precautions we'll have to take given the Baron's presence.
I see. I'm sure Sergeant Brava's got it all under control. He is the head of security after all, and he was aware, so it's all fine. And we talk about it right next to the Baron. This is really awkward.
Yeah,
I'm sure he won't get up to any trouble. Sergeant Brava's here, he'll knock him out if he sees him. Maybe not.
The Baron is far too much of a floating ego to really be concerned or troubled with the conversation. It doesn't look like he's got any interest at all in the conversation that you're having with Arno, sort of like Corvus right now. He's far too self-obsessed. The only thing that happens is he just clucks slightly impatiently at being delayed in getting to where he wants to be. You have got as far as steering the Baron de Luminix past Sarah Roshan, and currently are being waylaid a little by Master Corvus. I imagine it would be somewhere over here right now. Now I believe, Tiran, you were going to try and keep an eye on the Baron and observe his interactions with people, his glances, and who he's paying attention to and who he isn't in your role as observer.
Yeah.
Would you like to, in that case, let's have a skill test, shall we?
Let's.
And see how you get on with that.
I'm going to use, I believe it would be, so is this like an information seeking test, or is there a difficulty?
It's well, there is a difficulty, and it would be an understand. Trying to pick up on his sort of non-verbals in this environment. At least it's a little less frenetic than it was before, so still a bit challenging. So I'm going to go with a D2.
Okay. I'm thinking.
Always assist as well by doing an introduction or whatever.
Thinking that would any of Mentat, Empath, or Perceptive apply as a trait?
Certainly perceptive.
Perceptive, yeah.
Yeah.
And body language as a focus.
Definitely helpful, and that's really precisely what you're tuning into here.
Yeah. And truth is more powerful than any weapon, and I want to know what he's actually thinking.
Yes. All of that sounds great.
All right.
I endorse
we're already
these choices.
Yeah, we're maxed on momentum, so feel free to spend one.
Yeah,
Three.
we only need one success, and I've got a focus, so... I mean, I could just to up my own chances, and I'll probably be able to pay it back because I've got the focus. So, let's do that. How many dice? So we're going to do 3 dice. Submit using a focus. Yes.
Oh,
Hey.
look at that.
Oh, wow.
So we've still got momentum 6.
Yeah.
Assuming we
where
don't
you-
ask a lot of questions.
This
but-
is where you do that obtain information thing, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got 4 to obtain info. We've got 4 right now.
Yeah.
So first I'll let you answer the basic success.
So, one reaction you note is that from his body language, the Baron de Luminix has a grudging respect for Arno Corvus. Arno is well below him in terms of sort of like social standing, because the Baron is a house ruler and of an aristocratic line. Arno is merely the sword master of a rival house, and yet there is a certain there is a certain respect that the Baron has that cuts through the veneer of disdain that seems to be his default mode, if you will. Yeah, so that's initially all you pick up on right in that moment. However, just as you were observing him, the scholar Takizawa and the Marchioness are coming around to view a particularly impressive panoramic scene of, let me guess, desert, because this is the art of Arrakis. So, and the Baron's eyes flicker over to the Marchioness, the ruler of House Obscura. That's all you're getting. You'll have to obtain information if you want anything else.
All right. So, is he disappointed about anything? Is there anything that I can see that he might be let down, or he's looking around for Anniversarian, or disappointed or surprised that she's not there?
I'm going to let you have a mulligan on that question because you kind of got the answer to that before. And right now in this moment, you're not getting any vibes about his disposition to Anniversarian. I think you're not in a situation where you can really obtain information about that.
Has he noticed Darvo's absence?
Has he noticed Darvo's absence? No, absolutely not. He's oblivious. He seems more to be paying attention and sort of like seeking out. His eyes are roving around the room, and it's like he's checking out. It's like he's doing a mental who's who of who is powerful, whom he can suck up to, I suppose, or leverage.
What's his energy level like? Is he ready to go for several more hours, or is he kind of antsy and wanting to get out of here?
He seems to be fairly low on energy, but forcing himself to engage and stick around.
I will return 1 momentum to the momentum pool.
Okay.
You've still got one more question, I think. You've asked 2.
Yeah, I'll give you a mulligan on the first one.
Okay.
This spread to maybe seeing how the Marchioness is reacting? Or is that going to be a whole separate skill?
Is that a different... Yeah.
No, you can use it because she's in proximity and they have made...
Okay, yeah, so... What is the Marchioness's reaction to the Baron?
She's mildly embarrassed to see him in a social situation.
We all are.
Yeah. It's like... It's like she's got gas at the sight of him.
No, it's the Baron, and right behind him is that damn Volivai eating Menta.
Quite so, you've read it perfectly. Excellent. Yeah, so you're at a logjam here. The Scholar Takazora and the Marchioness are... The Scholar seems to be offering a running commentary for the Marchioness on the painting that they're viewing at the moment. This is Desert Panorama 4, and you notice the arc of the dune and the cunning use of perspective, force perspective here to focus the attention on this area. And the Marchioness is listening politely. It's probably the best way to put it.
Because we've not really got any useful information about how she feels about him, apart from maybe thinking he's a bit of an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Can I force the issue by taking the Baron over? Maybe interjecting myself into his art critique. Oh, you've noticed the arc? Yes, that's parabolic, isn't it? It's wonderful. Marchioness, you met Baron de Luminix, and I'll do incredibly loudly as well, just to see, just to force a reaction more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I tell you what, if you do a communicate roll as a support role, then we'll see if that adds anything in terms of the number of successes. Okay, so you just want me to do
an dice?
Yeah, do a dice, sort of like as this is kind of like supporting Tiran's observation, and I might be able to glean a bit more because if we get another momentum out of it.
I'll go with truth. 1 dice. Is this one way you can use focuses, or is it not?
You can use focuses in all situations involving dice rolls.
Roger that.
Whether they're support.
I'm not sure I've got anything actually.
What have you got?
I've got diplomacy, persuasion, composure, and grace, but I'm not really being diplomatic or persuasive. I'm just being a damn nuisance.
Yeah, but you are being potentially composed, I would accept, because you've got to kind of... you can't... You've got to hold yourself together in this, because the Marchioness is the leader, the ruler of the House Major above you. You've got to hold it together.
That's true. It could be easy to be intimidated.
It could be,
especially since I've got a hidden agenda essentially. So yeah, I'll take that on advisement. Yippee!
Nice.
Excellent, and no complications either. So that gains you effectively. That's helped out your observation and given you another success Tiran. So we've got another point of momentum. So you could ask another obtain information question here as the Marchioness encounters Baron de Luminix at close quarters.
Yeah. So can we do like, what's the Marchioness's reaction to the Baron 2? The deep dive.
Can
The
we
deep
tell
dive.
anything? I mean, we couldn't start to figure out what it is she doesn't like about him from just this reaction.
The initial reaction that you had was that, she finds him distasteful, kind of unpleasant. But that was just being in his proximity. Now she's facing him face on. What was the question you wanted answered again? It was something like...
Did we figure out what she doesn't like about him? What is driving the, we can't figure out the motivation or the cause of the dislike, but can we figure out the nature of the dislike? The first thing we noticed was it was kind of a social embarrassment,
yes.
I'd rather not be seen with this guy.
Absolutely.
Now that she's clearly has no alternative on that matter. Is she afraid of him? Is she even more embarrassed? Is she trying to withdraw? Trying to domineer him?
I could jump in a little bit. I think the main thing we want is something that Veritas would consider useful, right?
Yeah, that's from a promotion and boss pleasing perspective, that's what we're after.
But yeah, I think you're right. If you can work out what it is she's not happy about, that could be it. If she's not happy because her underling who's supposed to be doing something secret is here in his big cloak making a fuss, that would be quite useful. Or if she just doesn't like him because she doesn't want to see him ever, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
It is.
I'm not sure if that'd be useful though.
What you're picking up from the Marchioness is coming out from the interaction that she's having with Takanazawa. As the Baron is introduced, Takanazawa is talking in detail about the artistic merits of Talia's work. As soon as the Baron arrives, she does ask Takanazawa just to keep going with his explanation, and so the Baron is forced to listen in on this monologue and is clearly lost, has no interest in the artistic merits and the integrity of the artist or any of that, is not of any interest to you. And what you pick up on is the Marchioness clearly thinks the Baron is an oaf, that he has no sense of aesthetics at all. It's like she's basking in his radical ignorance of the art.
Oh, so does that mean she's enjoying it, or?
Kind of in a way, because she gets to she kind of intellectually lords it over him.
She's slightly enjoying the party more now. That's great.
In a manner of speaking, this is Schadenfreude. If you're aware of that concept, that clearly Hieronyma Bosch has enjoys feeling intellectually superior to the Baron in this moment. Whether that's useful or not, I'll leave it to you and Veritas to unpick.
Maybe me and Takizawa could tag team in a sort of artistic discussion and embarrass him enough to make him leave. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Or ask him what he thinks. Ask him for his opinion and watch him embarrass himself.
That's kind of what I meant, yeah.
See if you can get him to see if you can convince him that you know something really clever to say in front of the Emperor, but it's actually something really stupid to say.
Stupid, yeah. That's brilliant. I didn't think of that.
Well, shame him in front of the Emperor would be in an interesting manoeuvre. You think probably that your stock with the Marchioness would rise? She would enjoy it? But if the Baron never sort of like cottons on to the maneuver, it won't improve the relationship between your house and his, which is already not great.
I wasn't expecting to kill Smurk off this episode, but
never rule anything out in this game.
Maybe I don't know if we've dealt with this before, but what is House Obscura's position on interhouse conflict, on minor interhouse conflict? Do we have to worry about Berrigan showing up with soldiers one morning, or are we kind of governed by the same kind of art? We'd have to declare Canley and go so on and so forth.
Well, in the past, Abstentia, as the major house in Ektasi, has interposed when minor houses have got into conflict with each other. And there was a time before the Contessa took up the reins as the ruler of the house. Her predecessor was far less diplomatic with House Berrigan. And it did get quite nasty at one point. There was threat of military action, and Abstentia stepped right in, pushed the pair of his side like young children, and interposed, used military force to make sure that nothing untoward happened, and then told everyone off. So they will do that. They have a history of doing that.
So we have the precedent of it not mattering how pissed off the Baron is at us.
If you want to rely on House Obscura to shield you from that, sure.
But then you're also putting her in the position where she has to intercede. That's not going to do us any favors.
But we did make the Baron look stupid and amused her in the process. So it really depends on what kind of noble she is and how much she values her own entertainment.
Then you really need to get you. This is a freebie. You really need to get a good read on her to know what kind of play to make if you're going to be that bold. If you read her right and judge her right, then you can probably pull that off.
Not that we're necessarily going to follow through with this without significant group discussion and agreement, but for now, I would like to see if I could get a read on how much is she enjoying the Baron's suffering. Is this kind of a passing amusement, or is this something that is satisfying her at a deep intrinsic motivation level?
Okay, so we need another understand roller.
Yep.
Now that you want to shift your attention away from the Baron and his reaction more onto her, as this awkward cocktail party event continues.
So difficulty is still 2 modified to 1, or does it go up because I'm seeking a more complicated goal, or?
Yeah, I think this is more D3, really trying to unpick the Marchioness's psyche is more of a challenge in this context.
And can I trait that down to 2 with Perceptive?
Perceptive will reduce it down to 2, yeah.
Yeah, alright, and then I'll do Understand and Truth.
Awesome.
Alright. Oops.
Plenty of momentum in the pool for another dice or 2.
Yeah, I think I might do that.
I love a bit of threat. I'm on the look for about 4 right now, so.
The trick is we have to keep the threat level down until the end of the party, so he can't break the binding promise. He needs 6.
After the party, we can give him anniversary and go up and be like, "Ah!"
She turns up too bloody late to the party, pissed off her head on spice.
Story of my life.
This is Talia's ornithopter flies into the distance.
Talia, no!
Using a focus, yes.
I just wanted to love you. Come back.
Ooh,
Ah,
that didn't work out.
She's a hard read. Yeah.
Yep.
What's the
Screw it,
complication
why
range on a
not?
D3? I think.
Oh, it's D3. I can't help then.
Well, a D2 actually.
if you
so-
crit, well, there you go. If you
You take it down to 19 if
Yeah,
it's
I
2.
think it's 19 on a. Is it 19 on a? It's
Yeah.
20 on a 2, right?
Yeah.
So 19 on a 3. So I just dodged that.
You've just dodged a complication.
Yet another complication.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. Can we not have any more?
we're starting to have to keep carrying them around like luggage.
Exactly. Yes. So yeah. But you've only got one success by my reckoning there, unless you want to.
Yeah. So it's a failed. It's failed, and we lost a momentum on it.
well, can Blake not assess though?
I was about to say, yeah, Blake. I mean, you could be
Yeah, I was
assisting
thinking
here
about it.
by creating.
We only need one success because I got it down to difficulty 2. So
All you gotta do is roll
You're
a
trying to
1,
get it.
and then you get 2 successes. Then we'll put the momentum back. It's easy. Just roll a 1.
Well, yeah, I always roll ones.
Easy.
That's kind especially when I'm playing games where you need to roll high. So you're trying to get a good read on her, right? So
Yeah.
I guess I could start needling at the Baron by asking him his opinion on various parts of the paintings and his understanding of it.
So that is a communicate test.
Yeah. I do it with power because I'm being a bastard.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret that. Use focus. I guess I'll use composure again because I'm trying not to break out into a smug grin. At how
Yeah,
much of the
yeah,
tit
yeah,
is
yeah.
making of himself.
Really, you're asking seriously what
See?
he thinks. Oh
There
my
you go.
god!
Bloody hell, go on.
hey,
Well
guy who's clearly
done.
not enjoying this. What do you think?
So that turns it into
I'm
a
clearly
success.
not enjoying
Wow.
this.
Yeah, turns it into
That's
a success.
3
Nice.
successes.
And
Yeah.
So that gets
gotta-
us our success and our momentum back.
yes,
Nicely played.
Unless we want to ask another question. We'll find out soon.
Do we get
Do it
momentum?
and definitely keep asking questions.
the Baron is stuttering and stammering, and all his questions. As you sort of like asking his opinion of the art, are his answers are just vapid, puerile, and lack any intellectual soul.
Mm.
And you
What do
see,
you think about the colour palette? And it's like, well, it's yellow,
orange.
isn't it?
It's
yeah,
yellow.
yellow,
Sand.
sandy.
It's all yellow.
I don't like
Hello,
sand.
It's
It's
everywhere.
everywhere. And this betrayal of his ignorance and his lack of aesthetic sensibilities. The Marchioness is doing her best to sort of like remain neutral. She doesn't want to sort of embarrass the Baron. But you can just see there's a wicked glint in her eye. The corner of her mouth is just rising slightly. All these telltale micro features of someone who is having a pleasure response to what she is seeing. It's like the anticipation of a highly pleasurable substance. It's like an addict's reaction. She almost has that level of response. Read as he twitches.
Now, if only we could get this whole group of people in front of the Emperor, or vice versa.
And on that
got
horrendous
an idea
thought
of that.
experiment, will it switch over to Sergeant Marlowe?
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, at this point, unless she wishes to speak more, I will invite her to rejoin the party and explain that I can secure the room from here.
I think she does want to speak more.
Please do then.
She turns to you and says, I think it's of vital importance that we investigate how it is that a face dancer, a member of the Order of the Bene Lilacs, should attempt to take my life, don't you, Sergeant?
It is absolutely a priority, Ambassador.
And that we must keep that contained until we have adequate answers. I don't want conjecture and hypotheses and mad ideas running around the house until we have facts.
Agreed. Spurious rumors don't help us here.
So I
The more
charge you
people
with
who know about it.
keeping this contained. You're to take the lead on this investigation and to report only to me about it. Until we have the facts, no one else is to be involved.
As you wish.
And then she sweeps past you into the party.
Okay. There'll be a debrief with my troop later as to how they could get through, but that's fine. For now, I would like to rejoin the party as well.
Sure.
And make sure that whoever's on the back door security there is like, hey, nobody else in. We're not expecting anyone else.
Yeah,
Lock
absolutely.
it down.
Yeah.
And then Brava will take a few moments, compose himself, and then bring himself back into the party as well, kind of nodding to Tiran, sort of like, thanks again for backing me up in there.
And so the party continues, the ambience, is convivial. Shaddam the Fourth is walking arm in arm with the Contessa, and they are circulating and enjoying the art. Saul Darian is a broken man in the corner, just weeping about the loss of his career. The Baron is in the midst of demonstrating fully his ignorance of anything that doesn't involve weaponry or armament. William, you have got your charge Darvo Rund, Victor's younger brother, over to exactly where you want him by the Ornithopter. What do you want to do with this poor young lad?
I want to dagger him in the back of his neck while he's looking at the front of the Ornithopter.
Do you want him inside the Ornithopter
First.
to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily have him
no
in
one's
the...
gonna.
No one's paying attention.
Yeah, he's sitting in the seat trying it out. I'm like, that's
What does that one do?
fucking steering thing.
Yeah.
I explained to him all the things in the Ornithopter that I completely know. That button does this. That's the indicators. That's the handbrake. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll lean over the back of the chair and chat to him, and then
Yeah. So this is move, stealth sort of thing for you, I imagine. As he's sort of like looking up at one of the displays, sort of like up above, and the switches. D1. For you, this is really quite trivial.
okay.
You've got him in a perfect position to do this. He's fallen in line with you. There's no other witnesses going on. It's very low risk.
And our momentum is maxed out already, right?
It is.
So, because I think I could maybe use my ruthless trait to bring it down to a D0,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to roll, right? Is it worth rolling to get extra momentum? And
Or you could create
it
a
worth
trait
leaving
with
that?
or create an asset, something on him, on his
Yeah, we
person.
can create
You
a
could take
trade or an asset. That's a good idea.
all right, let's see. Then. So
Even if it's a
I'll
D0,
do,
just means that you're assured of success. You should still roll because of the potential.
Yeah, I get that, but also if you roll it, you've chance of complications.
You've
right?
got a chance of complications.
I'm going to use my power. Comes at a knife's edge. Seems like appropriate. I'm going to use a stealth
Poison.
focus. Yeah. I get an extra dice for free. I'll spend 1 momentum out of the pot to get 4 dice.
Nice.
Using focus, yes.
Oh my.
So I spent 1, and I get 1, 2, 3, 4 back. Okay.
What are you going to spend all that on?
So that 4. Well, what I'm thinking I might do is because what I was thinking of doing was ringing the sergeant to say on the intercom to say, can you send Chuck and Barry out with another one of them art crates, please, for the for the ornithopter. But I could just spend the momentum to put one in there, a spare one in there, maybe.
Yeah, you could have had one.
Or I could
whatever you want
on there already, unless anyone can think of something. I mean, I'll have a quick search through his pockets, as I gently put him into the crate.
There's any number of valuable evidence or processes or access codes from
Arrogant security passes, or
yeah.
Yeah, Barrigan security pass is a brilliant idea.
Between that and
I
the
don't
uniform
imagine.
we got earlier.
Yeah. All right. So I'll do that. I'll swipe his key card or whatever,
yes
and then use the other 2 momentum to make it a permanent asset.
Perfect. So you got a permanent asset
Well played.
of a security pass to House Barrigan. I mean, it's a cadet level, so it's not going to get you very far, but
Yeah,
it's still
fair,
going to be
fair.
useful.
But still,
He must have got a decent VIP wristband to get in here though today.
especially if he's
You know.
even temporarily attached to the
To the,
Baron's
to the
security detail.
Baron,
He's
yeah.
going to need some kind of
Some
security
decent
clearance.
yeah.
Great.
Marvellous. Record that asset, that enduring asset that you now
Brilliant.
have. Nicely done.
So I use that up, and then I do ring Sergeant.
Mhm.
Excuse me, Sergeant, can you get Chuck and Barry to deliver another one of those crates for art gear to the ornithopter, please and thank you.
Brava has one of those little dots behind his ear that he connects right to the bones inside. It's absolutely, I'll send him right away.
Yeah, and I wait for Chuck and Barry and Paul, is it? The other guy.
Chuck Berry and Paul, the third Chuckle Brother. Yeah.
The third Chuckle Brother.
Yeah, the interstitial Chuckle Brother.
The mysterious,
Yeah.
unknown third Chuckle Brother. Yeah, I wait for them to come out and then
And in short order, the Chuckle
lock him in,
Brothers.
stack another crate up on the pile,
Uh,
and then
yeah.
This ornithopter's going to be heavy to take off.
It is. Absolutely. Let's unleash.
Everybody else at this party better behave.
Better have that.
yeah.
Running out of
We
crates.
ring back to base and get them to deliver another ornithopter.
If you don't behave, I'll put you in the back of an ornithopter in a crate. You know?
Yeah.
You don't behave, I'll turn this ornithopter around.
Yeah, so in short order, your aides, Paul,
Here we go.
Barry, and Chuck, arrive, and they're pushing between them. Push me, pull you, to me, to you, to me, to you.
Yeah.
This crate, one of the, it must be like one of the sort of like anti-grav generators is a bit dicky because it tends to sort of like spin slightly, so they're having to counteract that. And they load it up into the back and then we'll sort of like discreetly you just want this box and you want them out of there. Is that right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, I don't think they know all the ins and outs of putting people in a box, do they?
No.
No, so they go on their way and then
Absolutely.
I'll spend 5 minutes just flinging them in the box, locking it up next to the other one.
Next to the other one, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Every
And
now
then
and
I'll-
again, do they spin around and one of them has to duck underneath it so it doesn't hit them on the head?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I'll just go back. I'll make my way around to the back round to the front door, just
Saunter
stroll
over.
and keep an eye out on everyone. Make my way back in and then just blend in, mingle in with all the crowd as if I've been looking at the paintings. Oh no, I won't. I'll get a tray of bloody
Get a
drinks.
tray, and don't forget that you're meant to be serving staff. And you seamlessly, at the moment you enter, you pick up a tray and you're collecting empty glasses.
Straight back in.
And handing out refills as if you never left.
Yeah.
Excellent. Right. So Sergeant Marlo, you've sort of weaved your way back in.
I wanted to try to talk to Tiran for just a moment, and in addition to thanking him again, I wanted to say to kind of let him know that I'm going to be investigating the Talaxu assassin, and that has to stay only within us. The more people who know about this jeopardize the investigation. We need to keep this compartmentalized as much as possible.
Okay. I think that's wise.
And it's very easy to have a discreet little conversation here. There's so much distraction and noise sort of like going on.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and and also you could just sort of like open up the window here and go into this little courtyard within the exhibition space, if you wanted to completely have a private conversation without any possibility for snooping. So that's easily enough sort of like done. Then you share that information. I guess then really my attention is naturally drawn to the cluster of Baron de Lunux, Arno Corvus, Skolatakazava, the Marchioness, and Blake Smurk. And
it seems like how is all this going? That looks terrible. What is happening over there?
It's a car crash of social interactions. Yeah.
Don't know what you're on about. All going according to plan.
It is. It's also a car crash for the Baron, who is becoming more and more uncomfortable.
Oh, it's going to get worse for him. I've got an idea.
Oh, go on then. I heard. I thought I heard you brewing one up. What? Spill the beans.
Did you want to get in on this?
I'm gonna use my earpiece and be like, see if we can wait till the Emperor comes around.
Oh, is he on his way? Is he on the move?
He is moving about.
He was walking around with the Contessa. He is kind of making the rounds. So
what I'm thinking is that the Baron wants to see the Contessa. So when I take him to the Contessa, the Emperor will be there because he's like. The Contessa's his own candy for the night, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
We also need but we'd also like the Marchioness to be there, if we can, if that can be arranged. So now we might.
Well, I'll leave that part up to you then. I'll leave timing up to you.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to do is to say to Van, can I just have a little word? And I'm like, so you're kind of embarrassing yourself a little bit. I'm worried that if you go over to the Contessa with this kind of patter, it's gonna look bad for you. So here's the sort of thing I'd say, and then I'll tell him something that is directly insulting the Emperor, which something like that along the lines of. So what I would say, don't steal this because this is a Blake Smurk original and I'm planning on saying it later and it's going to get me lots of adulation. But tell him that the artwork is basically kitsch cacography, and in my opinion, the quality of the art is representative of the commissioner of the piece. Something like that will go down really well.
Brilliant.
Now this is skill-wise battle or communicate, but I'm going with communicate, but it has a certain combative element to it, really. It's a communicate skill where you're trying to manipulating into committing a faux pas. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
This is how, in history, the name Franz Ferdinand becomes important when it starts this gigantic war. Blake Smurk's his name. It starts this colossal
You know who you really
conflagration.
want to assassinate.
Yeah, or he's just going to get drowned in a lake afterwards with no fanfare.
I'm going to pitch this as it's not this is not a conflict, it's not an extended test or anything like that, but as an opposed test, that this is your communicate and skills to persuade versus his skills to understand what you're trying to do. And if he sees through it, then that's the risk, that's what's at stake. So he's going to be using understand. I can roll that first, and then we get the difficulty level, and you know what it is that you've got to beat in order to bamboozle him into making an awful mistake.
Sure.
You got this.
So he's going to do understand with power, because that's his bag, and he's using his. How much? I've got 2 threats, right? I'm going to give him. I'm going to take 1 threat for an extra dice. That gives him 3. He's using a focus of house politics, as in his understanding of interactions between different house elements. Oh my bloody hell! Look at that.
Whoa.
It's a walk in the
Well,
park. It's got nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so communicate.
That was threat well spent.
I'll go with power as well.
Oh.
Some days that's the way the dice go, you know.
I might use the momentum because I'm hoping to get a couple to maybe
To get
an
overwhelming.
asset of recording this.
If you can get a
for,
trait
amusement
where
later.
he's believes you or impressed, or you can put a trait on them, like,
Yeah, I mean this is a D0 because that's
Yeah.
you're in an ideal position to really
Yeah,
leverage
so I'm rolling
him.
3 dice because I want to smack him.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with persuasion.
Look at that!
Oh my god! Holy shit!
How is that fair?
Oh, Blake Smurk just always rolls crits.
Wow.
It's because the Baron's such a douche,
So-
that's why.
Maybe have a trait where he's cocky. He's like, "Oh, this is good." Like, yeah, I'm gonna look good.
Gullible. He totally
sure,
believes
let's
it. Yeah.
do-
Like he is he's not he doesn't just think this is a good idea. He's like, "Wow, this is I'm gonna
So glad I
scoop
thought of this.
I'm gonna
So
scoop
good.
the smirk."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what
Can
would
you use momentum to create an asset
Yeah.
after a roll?
Yes.
or-
Yeah. 2, isn't it?
Is
To
that
create an
it's
asset.
2
information?
points.
Could we get this recorded so we can smack him with it later if it needs to be?
Oh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
We
and
do
then
have
make it permanent.
Like, we do have recording devices already planted.
We do, yeah. All around.
So
That's not including just like the normal media that will be there for such an
Right.
event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I want a personal copy. Or like for the team, you know.
Yeah, fair.
You get a framed picture of the moment when he figures it out.
So Brava on the radio is like, Turosh, take 1 step towards Veritas. Open up the corridor for Shaddam to come this way.
Hell yeah, I do that. Whoop. I catch his eye.
And now we've got like sort of a corridor
Yeah.
to kind of flow
Yeah.
right towards. Yeah, right in here. That's exactly right.
You spend the 2 momentum to make the asset, and then you spend 2 more to make it permanent. Is that right?
Nice.
So it's not just for the scene. You can
Yeah.
put it in your
I'll
pocket
put
and
that
take
on
it.
my
and-
sheet.
Yeah, pop it on
Yeah.
your sheet as an asset
yeah.
that you will have. You know,
I'll put as another illicit recording.
illicit recording. Yeah, and we can
That
specify
sounds right.
what it is depending
The
on.
Baron's faux pas.
This
Yeah.
is just illicit recording.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to get a picture of you meeting the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me take a selfie. Here we go.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yes, the Emperor and the Contessa
Got so far.
are making sort of like small talk with each other, and sort of like Contessa is complimenting the Emperor, and sort of like showing off the art to him, and he seems to be having a whale of a time. Everything is going smoothly. His Imperial Artist is a tour de force. There have been no complications that he's aware of right now. He is really very much enjoying himself at this art exhibition. You are nailing. If one of the goals is to make sure that the Emperor has a good time at his own art exhibition, you're nailing that. William, as you just sort of like slink back, maybe discreetly hold out a tray so that the Emperor can take a nibble as he goes past. And he's got a nice corridor. I mean, there are other people there, but they deferentially get out of the way. And you're now blocking his way. Is that the plan? You
No,
want to move somewhere
I'm
else?
sorry, I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, where are you going? Lost.
Yeah, I lead him over there. I
Fair
put
enough.
the
Oh,
treasure
right,
eggs
you
and
sort
lead
Oh,
of
him
go-
over the way.
yeah, all right, yeah, and he will just sort of like,
Hors d'oeuvres.
yeah. Yeah, and he comes over to where there is this scene,
Brilliant. Beautiful.
where Scholar Takezawa is, presenting this work of art to the Marchioness, the Baron is being schooled in artistic appreciation, the Emperor comes over in order to observe the art for himself and see what all the fuss is about. It's like a bee to a honeypot. And the Contessa just sort of like hangs behind and allows the sort of like the Emperor to have his sort of like moment.
Kind of want to size up this bodyguard of his. I'm like, let's see.
Yeah, I mean he's
It
just
doesn't look so tough. He don't look so tough.
Yeah, he's just keeping himself. I mean he
A discreet distance.
a discreet distance. So the Baron, you've got that asset of this recording. He clearly has been rehearsing your line in his head over and over. Because the moment you said don't use this, he was like, I'm having that. He succumbs to the reverse psychology of the Smurk, and he parrots your words, word for word. And he says it proudly, not to the Emperor, but within the Emperor's earshot to the Marchioness, because he wants to get his own back on the Marchioness.
I gasp.
Yeah, the artworks are basically quiche cacography, and in my opinion, the quality of the art is representative of the commissioner of the piece. Just as the Emperor arrives,
Snicker.
snickers and gasps, and the Baron is, the Marchioness's face is a picture of incredulity, but also ecstatic delight that the Baron has put his foot in it within such close proximity, and she's just got this disapproving matriarchal look on her face. Tut, 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 Baron. Tut, tut. The Emperor looks at the Baron almost as if for the first time and says, "The Luminix, isn't it? House Barragan." Are you not? And the Baron, who's relatively oblivious to the depth of the caca of his own making that he has stepped into, just says, "But of course, my Emperor, yes, at your service."
Poor guy.
Almost the worst thing happens to him. Shadam just sort of like dismisses him as, it just publicly walks off from him, goes over towards the artwork, and in front of everyone virtually sort of like shoulders himself out of this exclusive little circle and asks questions of Takizawa and warms to the Marchioness, and engages her in conversation and discreetly Lucan Severus comes around the back and just sort of like yanks the Baron away. So it's probably better, Baron, if you... Why don't you have a look at the drinks are over there, go on. And he just sort of like marshals him out of the way. To all of the onlookers, this is a public display, and there is a sort of round of buzzing conversation, amongst the assembled art goers, in the Imperial Court of the Landsraad, and so on and so forth. And it's all along the lines of, what a doofus the Baron is. He's got no tact whatsoever. He's never going to get anywhere. They're fine for producing military hardware, but they're not great thinkers, are they? Maybe we should cancel that deal with them and consider moving our investment elsewheres. There's kind of rumblings are going on.
I think I might.
Can I just
money to avoid the Baron for the rest of my life?
I will never let them be within arms. Yeah, we'll make sure you get close security protection from now on. But
and Blake,
I think I'll go get a drink off William and give Tiran a little fist bump.
Yeah.
I do that, and I look. If the Marchioness is still visible, I grin broadly at her and pat Blake on the back.
And as she looks over the shoulder of the Emperor as the Baron walks off, doing that Snoopy walk to a certain extent, baffled as to what's happened. The Marchioness makes eye contact with you, Tiran, and you swear, just for a moment, she almost tips you a wink, or maybe it was just a flutter of dust in her eyelids. You're not sure, but and I think this is a good point. Maybe just have a brief bio break on that victorious note. And then we'll see what transpires after that.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. I think this might be karma for you getting your all 6 score in Blades of the Dark.
Yeah. Triple zeros.
that was brilliant thinking, though. That's so fun.
Oh yes. I will have to just House Barragan's at some point, probably House Barragan's disposition towards House Obscura, though, and raise it from disgruntled to whatever the next level is. When someone eventually takes the Baron to one side and says, what have you done, you numpty, his advisor.
Well, hopefully he'll see it on social media like I did. He'll have to see it on the big
He will, yeah, he will. The public shame. Yeah, it's at the moment, it's at dislike. For moral reasons, House Barragan dislikes
I'm in danger.
Obscura.
No, you're fine. Blake, just be like, that's not what I said, and then just spiel out another thing that sounds similar but is really good. You must have misheard.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, yeah. I could say, you must have said it wrong. Besides, didn't I tell you not to say it?
Yeah.
I distinctly said, do not say this.
Yeah, you've got to be able to pull it off if you're going to say that.
What's the other dispositions of the house?
Anyway,
from...
I'm pretty sure it was Corrado's idea. I just dialed it up a bit.
That was the one painting you couldn't say that in front of.
Yeah. Yeah, all the others are totally terrible, but that one was quite good, actually.
All the other ones are totally the commissioner of pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
House type, house domains, creating domains. House traits. Reason, right. Hatred, dislike. So the next step up is rival. The house actively seeks to bring the player character's house down.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have expected them to be doing that anyway. Bringing fucking Davo here and all that stuff.
Making us wait in the fisting room.
Yeah, rude.
For hours.
For hours!
Hours, yeah.
Under the shadow of the brutalist fist.
That sounds like a dystopian novel.
It does. Yeah, The Shadow of the Brutalist Fist by who would be author of that? I've got a feeling one of those incredibly Shostakovich. No, that's a composer. It's a bit Tolstoy, maybe. Who wrote One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich? Don't all answer at once.
Bob Orpherman.
Solzhenitsyn, Alexandros. Yeah.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue as
It
well.
wasn't. It wasn't on the tip of your tongue. It was on the tip of my Google search. That's what that was. Yeah, so fading back into this scene then, we have had, the Baron humiliated in front of the assembled of the Landsraad. What House Obscura gains from that is that their credibility as a house is roundly shaken, diminished in the eyes of the major house in Ektasi and amongst those assembled within the Landsraad and the Emperor, sort of like himself. The downside of that, of course, is they're now risen from merely disliking Obscura to now actively being rivals, and we'll deal with that later, no doubt. I think at this point, I would like to offer you the opportunity to do one more observe, which I think really is Tiran's bag. As you are, seeing the great and the good, enjoying the artwork. One final opportunity to notice the interactions amongst those assembled before the art exhibition draws to an end as the time marches on.
Maybe how the Contessa is feeling about all this, how she reacted to all this.
How is the difficulty on this looking?
I think given that, I think this is going to be a D2.
Mm-hmm. And does perceptive apply as a trait?
Are you using it? Is that a trait or a focus?
It's a trait.
It's a trait.
Yeah.
Then that will bring down to D1.
Okay, and then body language is a focus.
It's
that
focus,
might apply
so
here.
yeah. Perfect. So that's just a D1 to pick up on what you can glean of interactions and the nuances of people's
and
positions.
how are we doing on momentum right now?
Oh, bucket loads. So much better than
5,
me.
I think, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try to earn some back, so I'm going to spend 1 and do 3 dice.
You got 6 at the moment, so earn one.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
I thought we used 1 because Blake used 1 to get an extra die on his roll, and then he spent 2 on a trait and 2 on the asset.
Right, but it was a
making it
D0 trying to win it, so
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
had
and he got
1
5
success
originally.
to win it, and then the
He
1 extra
used-
momentum to put it back in the.
But, I thought he used all 6 on 2 for a trait, 2 for an asset, 2 to make the asset permanent.
No,
we didn't.
He
do
got
the trait.
5, yeah, and he used 4 of them to make an asset and make it better.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
are awash with momentum. You have been nailing this art exhibition and managing it. So I've got one
Excellent.
lowly threat.
Ooh.
What have we got here?
Oh yeah.
Look at this, another crit.
Yeah, so
Wow.
That's
that's
another.
cool.
That's
So-
4 total. Yeah.
So we'll put one back to keep our momentum plugged, and 1 to to get the success, and then we can ask 2 other questions, or we'll see what comes of this.
So just observing, the great and the good as they are kind of assembling around the Emperor, who is admiring the artwork. I think at this point you would notice a couple of interactions sort of like going on. This gentleman, I don't believe you've had any interaction with him whatsoever as of yet, has a very interesting reaction to one of the pieces of artwork. He clocks it, is clearly sort of like fascinated with it, and then you see he almost does a sort of like a double take. It's one of the pieces that currently isn't getting much attention because everyone is focused on the Emperor looking at Desert Panorama 4. But he goes over very closely, sort of like to inspect it. And of course, you've got things set up so that there are clear demarcations so that people can't get too close to the art and so forth. And it's,
Impenetrable velvet rope barriers.
all those things, yeah, absolutely, that prevent anyone from tossing orange powder onto priceless works of art in the name of protest. He really is peering very closely at this piece of artwork, and then he sort of like stands back from it. There's something he can't quite believe about it.
Is he the other artist that was like sort of after our job, or was that somebody else? Jarrell.
This Niran Jarrell, who is indeed, you're quite right, bonus points, he's another artist of residence in the Imperial Court. He's the guy whom is considered to be Talia's main rival, even though she doesn't really consider him, in terms of his talent artistically, to be that. Yeah, and he just seems to have had this odd reaction to one of the art pieces, which superficially looks no different to any others. It's sort of sandy and duney.
Did something catch your eye? Brava's right there next to him. At first he was worried he was going to slash one of the paintings or something and try to be So he was kind of clocking. When he got too close to the paintings, he's like, "What do you? Okay, did something intrigue you there?"
Is that you offering to spend some of that momentum to obtain information?
No, I'm just starting a conversation.
You're just starting
if that's necessary,
checking.
I'm starting a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll know when I'm spending momentum, buddy. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, he says, I was just curious about the patination of the brush strokes that Talia has been using. Quite intriguing. I've never seen such an application of the paint in such a way that is so suggestive of the texture of the desert. I'm impressed.
Do I think is that what he's? Do I think he's lying? How can I tell? I would like to see if he's.
That's an understand.
I'm across the room. So like, can I is he nervous about the fact that one of the security personnel has approached him and is asking him a question, or is he just having a conversation?
Now, is that you spending?
And yes, I am spending momentum.
Okay. Yes, he is nervous of the fact that he has been noticed looking at the artwork so closely. It's not just though that Brava is a member of security. It's that it's not about him being nervous about being interrogated by a security officer. It's not that, but he is nervous about having been noticed.
Talia's artist, possibly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be appreciating it quite so.
Maybe.
Like,
now, if you want to make an understand separate to this yourself, Brava, to try and cut through what you perceive to be maybe a deception, then you can do that.
We're in danger. Yeah, I'll make an understand check. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to do this as an oppositional roll.
Please do. Yeah.
Versus his attempt to communicate his innocent interest in the artistic integrity of a rival. That's definitely what it is.
If I'm right by Tiran, if Tiran's mentioned this, can I float over with a tray?
Oh yes, do assist
just to be near. Yeah,
that would be lovely.
In case
any assist would be.
Yeah.
Okay, so
am I setting the difficulty? You're gonna.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just figuring out what it is he's got.
Who goes first? You go first. I go first.
I will roll to set the difficulty. He's got a communicate of 5, and he's doing this with his truth statement. Art is truth, or it is nothing. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 he needs to get under, and he's going to use his focus of painting.
That stands to reason.
Yep. How often in the game do you get to use a focus of painting?
Not enough.
Never enough. 10 on one dice.
It comes up a lot in Dungeons and
Renovations. Second dice. Have I got any threat left? Yes, I've got 1 threat left. I'm going to spaff my threat on a painting roll.
Okay.
Oh, is that 3 successes?
3 successes. What
3 successes. 3 successes.
Did he have a focus? Did you say?
Yes, he does.
But none of those
are low enough to get under to make it a crit. No.
Okay.
Well.
So we need what?
Okay. So let's see what we got here. Let's do. So are we topped up on momentum?
Yes.
Yeah, but can we also
actually we still have a surplus momentum on the last question.
You do, but that's for obtaining information for your good self.
Right, but unfortunately I can't buy that.
Right, can we use our house trait of artistic
integrity
to lower that difficulty 1?
Yes. Absolutely, because you know about art. Even Brava knows about art because he's around artists all the time. So yes, that lowers it to 2.
Love it. All right.
Hear them talking about it all the bloody time.
All right, you can't help but pick something up. And I am gonna spend a point of momentum, and I'm considering spending 2 more points to get a 4th die. What do you think?
Yeah, but I can assist you as well. Yeah,
against 2.
You have a focus.
It's understand. It is not my bag. I do not have a focus, and I'm rolling at 12.
You're good. I'll do you an assist as well.
All right. So there's 3 dice, 1 point of momentum, no focus.
Oh my god.
Well, if you roll a 1, I guess that's okay. So that's 4.
1 momentum, and then I'll do you.
Sorry, Steve.
So dice do an assist as well.
I was so worried. I was like, wait a minute.
We don't need to, because the assist is gonna. We're already maxed on momentum. We can have
and the
extra
assist could potentially
we're gonna risk it. Yeah, literally a complication.
All right. Yeah. Cool. I just.
I love it though. Thank you so for like, and Bravo will kind of like take in vol of a little hors d'oeuvre while he's kind of like while he's
and
talking
that comfort
with him
eating
and try to
him
understand what he's actually nervous about. What was the painting that he's looking at? Desert scene.
She's very prosaic. Desert Panorama 3.
Desert Panorama 3.
Yeah. What he's nervous about is that you noticed him noticing something about that painting that was unusual, and it wasn't the brushstrokes. That was him trying to flannel you off, and that he doesn't really think that Talia's work is superior to his, but that there is something about that painting and what it represents that he found intriguing.
Yeah.
And you look at it, and it's just a sea of desert.
Don't you have 2 spare momentum that you can't bank?
I do.
Well, maybe you could obtain something like that information.
If
you look at that painting to the other paintings?
Yeah, I'd like to look at that painting myself now. Mm-hmm. And can I obtain information about the painting?
Yes, you can. Do you want to
what do I think he was so interested in? Not if it wasn't the brushstrokes. What was it?
This is the only painting that has that seems to represent some kind of flora in the dunes, and then there's a bright purple pigment used standing back just as he did. You see that these daubs of colour suggest purple flowers in the desert. None of the other scenes have anything like that in them. They're just sand, desert.
Okay. I do want to relay this to the team, but I don't know if this is the time to do that. I want to try to speak with Talia, actually, if that's possible, and see how she feels about the party, and 2, ask her more information about this paint. Like, can you?
You still have a point of momentum to attain further information, though, if you wanted to.
Okay.
Just because you're going to lose that if you don't use it now.
Yeah, I don't want to lose it. So let's talk. Is there something about Jarrell? Is he?
You could use that last point of momentum.
I'm open to suggestions, yeah.
You could use the last point of momentum and one of our stacked momentum to create a trade or an asset.
Okay.
Yeah. Of what though?
I can't imagine what that might be.
Yeah.
I'm open to suggestions.
What about using the point to see what the flowers are? Like, is there a way that you would know that? And what I'll do is while you're thinking about it, I'll nip over and fetch Talia. Tray of hors d'oeuvres in front of her, lure
Absolutely,
her over
yeah.
to
Yeah,
where
sure.
you are.
Yeah, I wonder if Talia might enlighten us both as to what that is.
Mm.
You know. But I don't want to lose it either. But I don't know what maybe an trait of I'm at a loss. What are you guys thinking?
Impending dread.
Greg, you got lots of ideas. Come on.
Could you put
Pending dread.
a trait? Could you put a trait on Jarrell of like talkative, so he tells you more about what the flowers are?
Transparent, like
doable?
he's not. His lies aren't work. Like Brava's got his number, and his lies are kind of not working.
Fill him full of wine, make him drunk.
Yeah, I've given him wine already. Give him the strongest wine.
Lots of
I
good
like
suggestions
that, actually. Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll use those two, and if you're okay with that, we'll use that floating momentum
Do it.
to do that. I'd put a trait on him of intoxicated, like the wine has finally hit him.
Yeah, because he certainly had enough of it served to him mainly by William Turosh. Particularly in the last few moments. Yeah, he's quite a
Yeah.
few. Steady his
It is
nerves.
glass every time.
Because he, you know, he's perceptive enough to realise that you're onto him, probably.
He's going to want to steady his nerve, exactly.
Yeah, and in doing so, he just sort of like tips over the recommended alcohol by volume per milliliter of
units.
blood. Yeah, so you've got that intoxicated trait going, which makes him, you know, which means that if you're doing communicate rolls with him, they're going to be one difficulty level lower. Nice work. Yeah, and you're able to sort of like tease Talia away. You know, the party is really winding down here now, you know, and Emperor Shaddam is doing his last rounds and is making his way out of the exhibition. And his standings orders for the exhibition are that once he leaves, everyone else is to leave, and that the art is to be packed up, created, and you've got a professional maneuvering team, and that it is to be stored securely for him to take back to Khitan. He doesn't want anyone else nebbing at his artwork once he's seen it. So he's starting to make his way out. So you've got just a few last moments to do what you can do and get the most out of your momentum and advantages.
Yeah, he'll try to continue that conversation with Talia and kind of say, you know, I'm interested in this use of color here. What is that supposed to represent? Something of that nature.
Having brought Talia into the same sphere as Niran, because you've got him intoxicated, so he's more talkative.
Right.
Or did you want to bring Talia into it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to say, you know, so what do you think she was trying to represent with this here? And Talia, maybe you can tell us. Kind of like get them talking, get him to be.
Okay, so that's bringing her into it, you know. Are you trying to get? Sorry, just to be really clear, you're trying to get.
Please. Yes.
Trying to get Niran Jarrell to talk more about what he thinks these purple flowers mean.
Talk what he really thinks, to give me his real opinion, you know, to see what he really thinks about this.
Okay, so a communicate. This would be the. Let me see. I would do it as opposed. I'm just going to do it as a D2 now, but because he's intoxicated, it's a D1.
I debated if I should try to whip up a sheet for him real quick, but then I was like, no, well, it's just going to be problematic, and it's worth probably.
Yeah, so it's just a D1 when you're doing the communicate.
Mm-hmm.
What's driving you?
You asking me? Are you pulling for his stats?
No, I've given you. It's a
It's just a
D1,
D1.
and you do a communicate.
Sorry, it's not.
I'm not going to do it
My
as an
mistake.
opposition.
I was like, sure, let's do it. We're not going to do an opposite roll. No.
Not
problem.
in this case,
No
because the intoxication
would've-
has taken a
problem.
fight out
Well,
of
with
him.
communicate, I do have a focus of intimidation, and with all the security around, and maybe he is feeling a little intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
And I will spend a point of momentum for a third die as well.
Go for it. Oh my goodness.
That's 5 successes.
Bloody hell. God damn.
So, that's. I would love to make a permanent asset of his recording of. So I would like him to tell me. I'd like to use some obtain. So I got 4 points. I'd like to obtain information. First of all, what does he think those? Why is he so concerned with those color on there? It's just a painting.
So his he has a cousin who works under the Imperial botanist, the Imperial environmentalist on Arrakis. And he's had long, what he describes as very boring conversations with his cousin. He's always going on about the environment of Arrakis and how precious it is and how delicately balanced it is. And he's positive that there are no flowers of such colour on Arrakis. If that is not a mere artistic flourish and actually is representative of something that Talia has observed, purple flowers in the desert, then that's very bizarre. Because everything his cousin, who's an empirical botanist, has told him about Arrakis, says that there's no such flora on Arrakis.
Interesting. I'd like to obtain information. What was the name of his? I'm going to put you on the spot and make you come up with the name of this ecologist.
It's all right. You're not putting me on the spot, because what is the name of this imperial ecologist, Brava? What would you like to call it? What should we call this character we've created?
Okay, here's a question. How close are we able to use any of the standing characters from the novel?
Well, we're 10 years out from the novel.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the legendary imperial ecologist he's not quite been appointed yet. I can't quite remember when he does become appointed.
Yeah, his father, Pardot Kynes, has been the ecologist for many years, and then Liet takes over.
So maybe this is this is a relative,
a cousin
someone within
or
a cousin,
or a relative of.
He's part of the Kynes
we'll
family, and he's involved in
Sure.
the family business. Yeah, and that ties it in neatly without.
Sure, we'll call him
So we know his surname.
Bargo Kynes.
Excellent.
Cousin and ecologist. There you go.
Nice.
Love that. Okay, so we got 2 more. So I'd love to hear some suggestions about what we could be asking. If not, that's fine too. I can make it
What are the coordinates of this painting?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good question. Are there any landmarks where we could recognize where this
Sand.
Yeah.
sand
that
dune
dune.
number
That sand,
7,442? That's
So this painting, you do have Talia on hand. you know, it is a nighttime desert scene. It has an ocean of sand painted in layers of colour, lit by the reflective light of the twin moons of Arrakis rising over the wilderness. And there is this sort of patch of colour suggestive of plant life that is a counterpoint in colour. And she says, "Oh, this was on one of those excursions into the deep desert, and I remember it was a long ornithopter flight in order to reach this point, and I had to press the pilot to allow me the time to capture this scene." He said it was very high risk being so far deep into the desert. Something about Shayalud and the risk of bringing about the ire of a worm and the attention of a worm. But I was really pleased with it, and you know, she's...
I can see why.
So you don't quite get the exact coordinates, but you know, she will...
But that's something deep in the desert, yeah.
It was a deep desert scene.
A nighttime desert scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Far, you know... She doesn't remember it being in the southern hemisphere.
Is that your momentum spend?
I think I have one more if I'm counting.
Yeah,
correctly.
I think you got one.
Okay, maybe you could ask her the name of the pilot.
Oh, that's a great idea. Was this pilot like officially tasked to you? What, do you remember their name?
I remember the name being something rather curious. There was quite a fuss getting them on board for this particular expedition, because we were going into the southern parts of Arrakis, and it's notoriously quite a hostile part of the planet. They were... I believe they had some association with the Fremen, although I don't think they were themselves. Although I could be wrong. Yeah, and she sort of like dredges up a name. This is all me flannel covering as I search through the description.
I can provide you a name if you want, or is there one you have written down?
I'll take a Fremen adjacent name. It's got to be something. Yeah, nice. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, they had the blue in blue eyes, but then they were a native of Arrakis.
The eyes. I find the Fremen fascinating. I've heard such bizarre tales about anyone who could live out in the desert.
I'm not sure they were Fremen.
It's such an...
But they... No? But then what do I know, darling? I'm an artist, not an anthropologist.
Well, after this night, you are certainly that. You are an artist in the eyes of the Emperor and the other houses of the Landsred.
So it seems as if you have done wonders for my reputation with this hosting venue and the way that everything has run, to my eye, so smoothly. I'm sure you've done an awful lot of work behind the scenes.
Was no trouble. Hardly worth mentioning. House Obscura is happy to serve.
Well, I shall be giving you a sterling review on Yelp.
Does Jarell like does he like blanch at any of these things? Does he react to any of these kinds of like? Does he looking like he's taking on this information fairly easily, or?
He's a little too intoxicated to really. He's got the wits about himself to know what the hell is going on now. You know,
it's probably for the best then.
Yeah, he may. You know, if he comes to later and sort of like sobers up, he may have some second thoughts about what he has said and what he has heard.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Any last actions on your part?
Yeah, guys, think of anything else? I don't think so, unless there's anybody can think of anything.
Have a thought.
No,
Do we have any way of getting a copy of this painting?
Now the Emperor.
Oh, you're selling prints in the gift shop? Yeah, like,
no, the Emperor has prescribed there's to be no recording of the artwork.
Does anyone?
Oh,
so if you were doing that, it would have to be surreptitious.
Mentats have photographic memory.
I was about to say, yeah, you don't need a recording when you've got a mentat to look at it.
Nice.
Yep, I look at the painting.
I'll call Tiran over. Like this is okay. I've seen it. Yes, I'm good.
It's in there. It's in there. Yeah.
That's all I had.
Nicely
done. Yeah. Shortly thereafter, the automatic lighting scheme comes in, and the art is automatically sort of like covered back up again as the Emperor sort of like leaves, and your team of hosts and escort people out and clear up all the drinks and so forth, and the art gallery is emptied of the great and the good and the luminaries, and the sound of multiple ornithopters taking off is to be heard. Troops of Sardaukar are marshalled off, and this scene comes to an end. I guess you then reassemble back in House Obscura.
Well, I'm getting quite antsy about the bodies in the ornithopter, so
yeah, it's probably best
be dropping them wherever we drop them.
Yeah.
You're not left them unrefrigerated, have you?
No, it's fine. It's a refrigerated art crate.
Oh dear, don't do that.
There's not enough crates to put the art in now, because some of them are full of bodies on the ornithopter.
Oh, that's all been
just squish it in.
That's been taken care of by the Chuckle brothers and the Emperor's assigned professional team to.
Well, they get mixed up, and then the art crates are opened.
And then pops Darvo.
Yeah.
You're not Desert Scene number 3. You're Darvo. Run! What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I'm not a painting. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. Let's. No, you've got. I haven't got any of that threat. I've starved of that.
Wow.
Nice work.
We've been jammy with that.
Yeah.
Can Corrado print out the painting? Is that like an office?
No. It's they can describe it in great detail.
In great detail.
Photographic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've
we are a
seen
house of artists. We've got to have somebody who can do a police sketch.
Yeah.
Somebody who can do a landscape to your specifications.
Say, if you've seen the classic film Short Circuit, he can draw like a painting quite quickly.
Yeah.
You could, in a house of art, let's establish sort of like the scene, but certainly that is something that you could do in a house of art, guided by Mentat sort of Corrado, describing it almost like a police reconstructive artist. You could attempt to recreate the painting, or if you wanted to, that would be probably a discipline test. But let's create the sort of like scene here. I'm imagining that there is a debrief with everyone's favourite spy master Veritas at some point. That's a scene that I want to have. That's a necessity that you will need. But is there any scene that you would like to have before I
would
usher you into the office of Veritas and the beanbags?
If somewhere between kind of getting home and wandering into the office, I could have a chance to, listen to this illicit recording.
Yeah.
Preferably by myself.
Okay, so perhaps you're wanting to do that when you get back to House Obscura or on the way back. So I just want to double check.
Put your headphones
Probably when I get
on
back.
On the ornithopter. We won't be able to hear it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of privacy on an ornithopter.
No. Okay, so when you get back, then you can sort of like squirrel. You could either go to your personal quarters or you could do it in the office, which is adjacent to Veritas's. Which would you prefer?
I'll do it in my quarters.
In your quarters, personal, alone, and listen to the illicit recording that the Shadow Mapes gave to you.
From Irulan's bedroom.
Yeah, I'm going to whisper that to you, and whilst I do
Ooh,
that,
sneaky.
whilst I do that, what would any and all of the rest of you like to be doing when you return to the house?
I want
It's
to get
quite
out of
late
this
at night.
stupid formal outfit. And get back in the money.
Yes.
Get out of the monkey suit. Get out of the stupid formal. Have that pressed, and then
Speaking of the Shadow Mapes, she's there, Consuela, to discreetly take that off you, and already has your,
working uniform, sort of.
Your preferred working style of working uniform to hand over to you at the doorway. She's that good.
She's that good.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you all be doing, the rest of you?
Try not to get banjaxed by the Baron.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't think I've got anything specific.
And assuming that Davo and the one-handed now assassin person of, what they get dealt with, they get put somewhere, so we don't have to worry about doing that.
Yeah, you could, I mean the the face dancer, the false supplicant. You would have her taken off by house security, and they would have her placed under sort of like house arrest. Even House Obscura has not a dungeon as such, but it has secure facilities.
We have a brig. We have,
Yeah, the equivalent of a little brig. Yeah. And Darvo, you could, have him put in a guest quarters and have a member of house security keeping an eye of him when he eventually comes round from your slip tip.
Yeah. Like if I was there, I'd just be like, "Oh, what happened? You passed out, and we're looking after you. Don't worry, everything's fine."
You hit your head on the console. We were worried you weren't going to wake up.
Yeah. But it's fine. Like we've told the Baron and everything. He's fine for you to just come back when you feel better or whatever. But he says you can have a week off. Week's holiday. Just hang out here and come back when you're back feeling yourself.
Nick, I think you missed your calling as a CIA handler. Because you're like, don't worry about this. We're gonna take you over here. Here's the thing. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
You're just like,
yeah.
You just. I love it.
Professional bullshit. Yeah. And because I kind of vaguely know him and he vaguely knows me.
Probably more likely to
I
trust
want
you.
him to. yeah, I want him to feel like really comfortable, and I've seen he's a little bit like kind of gullible, so I'd sort of play on that, and while you're here, why don't we get you to get our, I'll get Sergeant Brava to show you our training place. You must have done training, see if ours is as cool as yours. I bet yours is ace, blah blah blah,
Awesome. Now, inevitably, you're going to be called into the offices of Veritas. And Tiran can join after he's finished doing his stuff in his private quarters.
I will mention to the other two, to both William Turosh and to Blake Smurk, that this face dancer, we need to keep that on the down low. I don't even know if you two knew about it yet, like officially. You heard there was some commotion going back there. William, I think you were back there and you saw it.
I came back in there. I don't know if William would fully know all the ins and outs of a face dancer though.
Yeah,
but the same as shared rumors or whatever.
Yeah. But I don't think I can keep this from the rest of them for much longer, so I do bring both of them in on this.
Cool.
And say that the ambassador has tried to task me with some sort of investigation, but I don't know if that's her place to do that. I don't work for her, so things getting a little dicey. I have to figure out. She's putting me in a very awkward position, and I just wanted to let you know, the both of you, that if things go sideways or something, I didn't kill myself. Okay, this is not. No, I'm kidding. I just
Sure.
she's gonna take me out. Like, I don't know. We should have like a code word or something so it's me. We should have a code word amongst ourselves, so it's not like if the face dancers take us over, we can say the I don't know if they're around and they're impersonating members of.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah.
There has to be something we can do to prevent.
If the Thyexu themselves are after us, there's not a lot we can do about it. If it's somebody who's hiring them, that you can only afford so many face dancers.
True enough.
Mm.
And you want to keep this from Veritas, bro?
That's the question. I don't know how long I'll be able to. Certainly not without your help.
Am I wandering back in the hallway and running into this conversation?
Yeah, I absolutely think you are. That you
Sure,
sort of
I don't
like
see why
emerge
not.
from your personal quarters and you find the others sort of like dragging their heels on their way over.
Yeah, I'm not trying to keep it from Tiran. He knows.
Yeah, I don't
I'd
know.
be saying this.
Veritas is the one who.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, Veritas is the one who tipped us off about that person, so he knows something's up. He's going to ask about it. I don't think I'm in a position to refuse his requests for information based on what I know. I can't compel you to discuss anything from your investigation.
Well, that's just it. I don't know if she can order me to, I mean, she's the ambassador. I get that, but I don't, again, I'm security. I don't work for her. So this is getting, I may have to loop, Swordmaster Corvus into this.
It may be good.
We can loophole it.
Command. Yeah.
Yeah. We can loophole it. So she's told you not to tell anyone, but we know, so we can just tell Veritas, and then.
Well, she told you not to discuss the investigation with anyone, but she didn't tell me that I can't tell Veritas what I saw, and she knows full well I wouldn't listen. So
it's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm on dicey ground with her anyway, so we'll see.
So am I.
Sergeant Brava, I think if you needed a sympathetic ear about Irulan, then Veritas might be that sympathetic ear. You don't seem overly keen on her either, so. Unless, of course, you're super confident in your skills of lying to Veritas.
I'm super confident in a lot of things. Lying to a spy master is not one of them.
And speaking of,
so I think I'll take your advice. I think, when we do speak with Veritas, we'll disclose what we know.
Brilliant. And so enter into the offices of Veritas, extremely hard to pronounce surname, Sejikru? You do. His open door policy makes it easy to enter into his beanbag strewn office. As usual, he's perched
Yippee.
on the desk and he asks you, William, please close the doors. He has an open door policy, but not when he wants to do a consultation.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Very
Close
good.
the doors. After Blake does his big fancy introduction again.
Well, absolutely.
I go around and shut all the doors while he does it.
He has one of those machines that you saw in the office that was being broken into by Kalamar, one of those obfuscation devices, and he flicks it on.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
So that we can speak without fear of being snooped upon
Nice.
from the outside.
Got a cone of silence in your office? Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he says, well, I found the entire... Well, on 2 levels, there was a very successful operation. One, Talia Narell's artistic integrity has been preserved. No unfortunate complications took place between the 2 warring Canley houses that might embarrass all concerned and the Emperor. The Emperor is delighted at the reception of his art. And also, I found it intriguing, some of the dynamics going on, particularly with our friend the Baron. Corrado, would you care to report in on your observations?
Certainly seemed perturbed that Anniversarian... Well, he certainly seemed perturbed that somebody wasn't in attendance.
Yes, I agree.
He also behaved in ways I think that are consistent with our portfolio of him. He was obviously there to see and be seen and to promote his own popularity with more important people, and his art expertise seemed limited at best. And I smile.
I do believe he has not done himself and his house any favours in promoting the savvy of House Barragan in front of those gathered in their Landsrad. It will be some time before House Barragan can recover from this. It does, however, seem really to have tipped his hand, I agree, with respect to House Barragan's use of Anniversarian. It's much to consider as to what value there is in informing House of the Emperor about the goings on between Kalamar and Barragan and Visarion. I will bring this to the Contessa to consider.
Indeed.
Any other observations? From all of you, and he casts the net a bit wider. You're
I'd
sweating,
like to-
Marlo. In my office.
I submitted my report earlier by Transnet. I'm not sure if you've seen it on the Communinet yet, but I'll post it here and basically give you the rundown. There was an incident in behind the scenes, as it were, where we detected and renditioned a Tailaxu face dancer attempting to assassinate the ambassador.
Taurus, who was not Taurus.
Was not.
Well, attempting to assault the ambassador.
While pretending to, or also delivering a proclamation, or pretending to want to deliver a proclamation as cover for the assassination. You still have the proclamation?
I do. I also wanted to extend my gratitude and commend the Mentat Tiran for his assistance in helping subdue the face dancer. Without their assistance, it would have been a much more difficult endeavor, and I don't know if I could guarantee the ambassador's safety without him. So he's to be commended for that. This is the proclamation she had.
Yes, he sort of like looks it over, you know, and it seems to be more in the line of sort of like a petition from local residents who fall under the sort of auspices of the House Obscura, you know, outlining a local issue that they desperately want to have addressed, that they've been sort of like struggling sort of like to communicate. And he looks over and he says, well, this could very well be authentic. I can certainly... We will have to look into it and authenticate it. It could well be authentic. It could be the very petition that Varia Torres intended to present to our ambassador before they were replaced with this individual who took advantage of the opportunity to infiltrate the house.
The Spy Master, it might be best to return that proclamation to Brava, as he is supposed to be running an investigation of this attempt for Irulan.
Excuse you? He says.
Well, now that the cat's out of the bag, Ambassador Irulan attempted to task me with investigating her assassination. Although I don't know that she's in a position to, you know, change guard assignments or assign any such investigations. I would have thought they would go through you.
Well, of course, you think right and she thinks wrong. I'll have gentle words with her to dissuade her from, well, to encourage her to keep in her lane. This is not an issue for the ambassadorial section to determine who does and does not investigate. Have you done something to upset the ambassador?
I think the whole incident was probably very upsetting for her, having been an attempt on their life can only be... I don't think that would be a very calming situation.
She also noticed my lack of bravery and quick motion.
See, you keep saying that, but I don't think that's true, Tiran. I think you did just fine. I want to back you up there. Again, another fault in the ambassador's observations, because you did just fine. She's still alive, after all.
I admit to having spent a bit of time analyzing that situation when I could have leapt in.
And yet,
more bravely.
It's not your... That's certainly... You went above and beyond the call of your duty to do so. It was my job, and you helped me do it. It was not your duty to do so. So I appreciate the help.
Unfortunately, I thank you deeply for your appreciation and kind words, but I noticed that Irulan was not happy with my lack of rapidity and seemed somewhat suspicious about it.
I don't think Ambassador Irulan was happy about not being the center of attention.
Possibly true.
There were a lot of other things going on there.
And, you know, you can see, possibly this is more obvious immediately to sort of like to Blake and to William that during this sort of like interchange, that Veritas has his fingers steepled, he's listening, he seems to be observing both Blake and Tiran very closely. Like, it's almost like he's doing obtain information with putting theory into practice. Turning newfound knowledge into a practical advantage. Yeah, because he is a mentat. He's using his mentat talents. And he says there seems to be an awful lot to piece together of around how Ambassador Irulan is conducting herself around the house. She's overstepping boundaries inappropriately. She seems to be very on edge, uncharacteristically, in her interactions with both of you when all you were doing was attempting to protect her life. To be upset that a house analyst did not act quickly enough to intercept a previously unknown face dancer in her presence is an absurdity.
Can I postulate a hypothesis here?
By all means, he says.
I'm no mentat. However, if I wanted to disguise strange behavior, nothing would throw off the scent than an attempt on that person's life. Are we 100% sure that Irulan is who she says she is?
No.
This raises another consideration. The Shoutout Mapes provided me with the following. It is, according to her, recorded from Irulan's quarters. And I'll just hit play on it.
And what you hear is a low fidelity recording between Irulan and someone outside of the house. It's like someone radioing and a sort of like a conversation between them. And the gist of it is that the ambassador is being advised that she needs to take threats to her personal safety more seriously, and that her order of the Bene Gesserit is making unwise moves. There's quite a bit of detail in the recording, and also there's a lot of noise, so further detailed analysis might be able to pick out more details about the other speaker and things about the recording, like noises in the background, and things that are a bit fuzzy about it, and reveal more information. But that's the gist of it.
Thank you for sharing that, yeah.
I wonder, Spy Master, if it might make sense to let Irulan believe that Sergeant Brava's investigation is proceeding without any observation or interference from our office.
He considers that. Yes, I agree. I still maintain, however, and will be keeping detailed records of these irregularities around the behaviour of our ambassador, which may become pertinent later. However, I agree, Sergeant, you may enlist whatever aid you need in order to pursue your investigation. I sanction it, although you haven't heard that from me.
I take it in the manner in which it was intended. I would like to continue the team we have here so assembled. They seem to be quite useful and very resourceful individuals.
As you wish. Now, I do believe I need to get some rest. Tomorrow I have to brief the Contessa and write a number of rather tedious reports. And reconsider the risk assessment of House Barragan in light of recent endeavours. You are
Also had a
dismissed.
wonderful time at the party. Thanks for asking. Come on, William. We know we're not wanted.
I should point out that
Flounce.
the astounding faux pas from the leader of House Bergen was in some way assisted by the good works of our noble envoy.
Oh, don't
Thanks,
think
Corrado.
your sterling efforts have not been noted, Master Smurk. Unlike a certain ambassador, I know when things are to be rewarded and brought to the attention of the Contessa, and I will be doing so.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
We did also notice that... Oh no, her name's gone. Who's in charge of House Obscura?
Marchioness.
Hieronyma Bosch, the Marchioness.
Hieronyma Bosch didn't seem at all impressed with the Baron, even less so by the end of the event, but she didn't seem too keen at him from the beginning, so...
I'm not sure if we have
that's
this in our
worth the
file.
effort we went to invite him.
Yes, I'm not sure if we have this in our file on the Marchioness, but she thoroughly enjoyed the lack of facility that the Baron had with the art situation and the social situation.
Can I expect she appreciated the opportunity to witness that closely at first hand in front of the Emperor? Good.
That may have gone into our reasoning.
Then I shall have to adjust the my model of the relationship that we have with House Obscura and the Marchioness at the moment. Has gone up a few notches. I expect that probably will be of use to us. Very good, very good. No, I really am tired. Master Turosh, also your activities in removing expeditiously certain assets are noted. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. There's also that thing about the painting, purple flowers. If you just give him a quick rundown on that, in case that's of any.
Really is not going to
Anything
get to bed at any
interesting?
point. Yes.
Oh, leave it then. I'll save it for another day. It's fine.
No, go ahead. Do tell.
Well,
I explained the thing about the purple flowers.
while at the exhibition, Nilan Jarrell, another artist in residence of House Carinos of the Emperor's, seemed unduly disturbed by specific aspects of a particular painting. When we asked Talia to elaborate, they were not embellishments. She states, and I believe that she thinks she was painting what she saw, and what she painted were flowers in the middle of a desert, in a world that could not possibly support that kind of flora.
Well, that's most curious. Aberrant detail.
She claims it was not embellishment, but a landscape of an actual, a true-to-life painting. If this is true, there may be certain things going on Arrakis that we don't understand yet.
Well, that's a very important piece of information. We will need to establish a discrete line of inquiry with a suitable authority on Arrakeen ecology.
There is an ecologist you can speak to, Bargo Kynes, a relative of the Imperial ecologist, that may know more about this and may be able to serve as a contact there.
capital. I shall leverage my network to reach out to this Kynes. You have to understand what the significance of this is.
If any. I honestly, I don't know if it was simply a jealous rival of Talia's, or if this is something significant, but he seemed disturbed by it in a way that was beyond simple artistic jealousy.
Well, we will have a look into your desert flower, Master Marlo, and see what it brings to bear. Now, is this all, or are there any other details you wish
Just
to
one more
reveal?
thing. No, that's fine. There's always one more thing. There's always...
Yeah, you're Columbo.
Right.
Yeah, just one more thing. One thing I don't understand. And so, I mean, you all finally get to rest after a jam-packed 24 hours and a late
That's
night,
been a hell of a...
and have successfully hosted a once-in-a-generation event for the Emperor. However, in the morning, unpleasant news reaches your ears.
Oh, if somebody killed the ambassador, then I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, well, it wasn't you. You didn't get to do it.
It wasn't me.
Well, before you spill that news, just
Yes,
in case
absolutely.
it affects what we do during the evening, what I wanted to say is I would spend the evening hanging out with Darvo and, being like, same as I said earlier, just pallying up to him and making him not feel that he's been completely kidnapped.
Well, you haven't got much more of the evening left. The event started at 8 p.m. and then probably went on till, sort of like close to around 11. But he does sort of like come to after being slip-tipped by you, so you could...
Maybe you can convince him that we'll just bring him back tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I'm just going to, make him
Sleep off
not
that
feel like
hangover
he's been
of yours.
kidnapped.
And
Yeah.
we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, do you remember
So
what
he
a
only
good party
feels
it was?
50% kidnapped.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
What seems to be helping really is that you have this friendship with his brother, and also that he doesn't really have any power within this sort of like situation, but you do get the sort of like sense that he is a bit frightened by what's sort of like going on.
Yeah.
Not half hostage either. When you're in a strange house.
Yeah, I make out that, like, he just at the after show party got so drunk that he doesn't remember, but that we just are the best of friends, and try to sort of like convince him that he just doesn't remember. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a bit sort of like susceptible to the after effects of the... I mean, this is a psychogenic compound that you've introduced to his system. I mean, did you want to try and make some kind of persuasive communicate? It's almost like you really need a sort of... You really need someone with a strong working of probably you really want a medical practitioner. What's the name of the
Souk doctors?
Have we got a Souk doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? They would be ideal to help you with this.
Okay.
I mean, you could attempt this, but we haven't got a chief physician. So let's create one.
Okay,
physician?
well, yeah, we'll get a chief physician and then...
Yeah.
in the morning when he wakes up, we can talk to him.
Absolutely. So one thing that we need to do, a bit of housekeeping, is create
Homework,
a Sook Doctor Chief Physician for House Obscura, because you would have one to look after the health and well-being of the house.
Alright.
I'm happy to do that unless somebody else really wants to.
That's cool.
Sure.
I'll be happy to take that on. I'll be happy to make that.
Awesome.
Yeah, wicked.
In that case, after a restful night, you are awoken by one of the house stewards. Part of the ambassadorial envoy sort of like team. So someone that you have, someone who works underneath you, Blake, really, who communicates to you, your team, a message from Talia Narell, informing you that one of her art pieces has been stolen.
Let me guess, the one with the purple flowers, is it, by any chance?
Number 3.
Yeah.
It does seem to be exactly the case that Desert Panorama
Uncle Brothers?
3
What did you do?
has been stolen
Barry, Paul!
from the secure storage facility that all of the pieces of artwork were being stored in prior to being loaded up into the Emperor's ship to return with him to Kaitan. She's nervous and angry about this. How is she going to explain to the Emperor that the collection that he commissioned is incomplete? It's an embarrassment to her, and potentially she relates to you through this messenger to your house, and she's requesting an urgent face-to-face meeting with you at your very earliest convenience to discuss how this situation can be mitigated.
Wasn't this the moving team that the Emperor ordered? I mean, what the hell? Okay.
And on that bombshell,
What you get for hiring outside? Yeah.
we will end Act 1 and begin Act 2.
Love it.
Wonderful. Oh, does this mean we can torture the Chuckle Brothers?
they are there for torturing. Yeah, they were involved. They were packing it away, so they could be witnesses. They may have noticed something relevant. We'll find out next time.
Next time. Oh, exactly.
Awesome.
Love it. And I'm gonna take a look at some of the Sook Doctor feats they have available now. They have the Sook School extra talent. I say feats, but I mean talents. Things like that.
If there's
so we'll give them some
anything
cool
along
talents
the
and
lines
things like
of
that,
hypnosis or in that.